So, y'all have probably heard about Undertale by now. It's some kind of crazy quote-unquote JRPG that's been getting quite a lot of attention as of late, with many comparing it to, say, Earthbound in terms of craziness. I have to agree with that. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It drew me in after quite a few, I think uh, 6 friends. I know that's a lot. That's a big number. 6 is a big number for me, okay? Like 6 friends got it, and I decided to check it out. Checked out the trailer, and it seemed like the main selling point of the game said it was the RPG where no one had to die. And me, and likely like everyone else in the universe, decided to take it upon themselves to do a no-kill run. And that's an interesting key point there, so keep that in mind. And following anything after this, there's gonna be spoilers all over the story in this video. So if you don't want anything spoiled about an Undertale at all, then I would suggest that you bail out now, because I'm going to be spoiling the ending. So yeah, don't watch it if you don't want to know that. Okay, so let's get to it. Let me give a little bit of a break so everyone can skedaddle on out of here. Alright. So the game begins with a story about humans and monsters. It eventually tells us how the humans fought the monsters and banished them to a specific location where they cannot leave. The monsters live underground now, blocked out by the humans or out of the humans' realm by a magical barrier. The next part shows someone, presumably your character, going to the area where these monsters are banished to, and you end up tripping down a hole. And yeah, that's how the game starts. So you awaken in the hole you tripped into, and you wander out of the first room. With this part, you're greeted by this tiny, happy, smiling little flower. He's so adorable. And he offers to teach you the ways of the world. Like, how does it operate down here? Let me know. And out of the 8 friends that I knew playing the game, only one of those friends decided to trust this flower alongside with me. And he tells you that in this part of the world you operate by giving love to each other. And he was a little flower that was smiling and so happy, and he was going to shower me with love, and I was going to catch his love. Well, I caught one of his love pellets, and it almost killed me. Like, legit almost killed me. It was a projectile, and it did damage to me, and I was almost dead. At which point, his face was no longer smiling, and he put on this disgustingly evil sneer, and he said, "You idiot. Down here, it's kill or be killed." And cue the projectiles, circling around me, and slowly closing in on me. At which point, they hit me, and I am not dead somehow. I don't know. So the flower gets chased away by someone's, flaming fire and stuff. And now I'm seeing some goat lady in front of me. Okay, I'm okay with this, I guess. I don't know, I like goats, they're pretty cute. She assures me that she's not going to do harm to me. And she also mentions that the flower is some kind of horrible creature. So, I gotta agree with that, yeah, she's saying things that I like. And she leads me further into the area, teaching me the basics, question mark? I thought I just learned the basics from the flower. It's kill or be killed. But I don't know. So we're going along, she's teaching me things and all that jazz. She seems to care about me quite a bit, and she's kind of got that motherly appearance, so I think that's grounds for me to just go about trusting her fully. I mean, why not? I just trusted a flower that tried to kill me, okay? Don't judge me. Jesus. God, guys. So after some puzzle solving and some minor time away, because she leaves me behind, not intentionally, but she's got business to attend to because she's a busy goat mom. I mean, let's be honest here. She gives me a cell phone, okay? Like, she calls me and she asks me if I like cinnamon or butterscotch. I like cinnamon more than I like butterscotch, but I haven't had butterscotch in I think about 17 years, so I'm not sure anymore. But I like cinnamon. Cinnamon is good stuff, so I tell her I like cinnamon. She calls me back and asks me if I don't detest butterscotch, to which I say I don't mind it. I mean, it's cool if I find it and whatever. So she hangs up and, let's go on from there. So Progressing on a little bit, we eventually get to her house, and we meet up together there. And I get into her house, and, you know, it smells like cinnamon butterscotch pie. Okay, I'm okay with this. And once situated in her house, she tells me to go off to bed, and I'll be like, okay, Mom, I'll go to bed. And I go to bed. I wake up to a slice of that cinnamon butterscotch pie. And I promptly shove it into my pocket. And I get curious and decide to explore the house a little more, particularly the basement, because nothing else is very exciting around the house. And the basement is kind of scary because the music changes from this homey, warm theme to just this cold, somber weirdness. I dare to walk further, and Toriel, who is the goat lady, comes down. She rushes out of the side of the screen and says, "Yo, don't be playing down here no more." She drags me out of the basement. Okay, she didn't drag me out, but she escorts me out of the basement and says, you know, just don't play down there. Play elsewhere, okay? Okay, little one, you do that. And at this point, I pop the question on her. When can I go home? She tries to dodge the question a couple times. Trust me, I didn't want to do it myself, but I gotta do it. I mean, I gotta know when I can actually go home, if I can leave. Persistence breaks her down, and she excuses herself. Return to the basement again, and I find that she's down here. She's got that stern tone. It's not that warm, loving tone anymore. She informs me that the path ahead is the path to leave the area. But every human that goes through the door is fated to die. She doesn't want me to leave. She's going to destroy that door. And with some talking, she cracks. And if I can prove myself to her that I'm strong enough, I can go through the door and, you know, do whatever. But I don't want to hurt her, and this ends up causing me to lose the fight the first time around. I was trying to figure out how to beat her without hurting her, but I couldn't find a way, and eventually I lost. Second time around, I stuck around for a little bit, but I still couldn't find a way to beat her without, you know, not hurting her. And at this point I decide, you know, maybe if I get her HP low enough, it'll just end the fight, or she'll give up. And it'll be good from there, right? Well, that's the problem. Tough luck, kid, because low HP, she's in low HP, well, you get a critical hit and it knocks out the last quarter of her fucking HP. And she's mortally wounded at this point, and with her dying breaths, she tells me that I should keep moving along the path and not let my soul follow some guy named Asgore. And then she promptly fades away into dust. And, I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't want to kill her. It was an accident, but she's dead. And I walk forward into the door. I mean, there's not much else I can do. She's turned to freaking dust. And at this point, the flower makes an appearance again, and he's here to taunt me. He's here to do just that. And he tells me that Toriel couldn't save any of the humans that came through the door. And in the end, she couldn't even save herself. What an idiot. The flower wasn't gonna let me forget what I just did, and neither was the game. So, fast forward ahead through bits of the story, we meet a skeleton named Sans. He's by far the strangest character I met in the game, besides another one, but we'll save that one for later. He's a joke-cracking kind of guy. He's very funny man. But something seems really off about him throughout the game. He serves an interesting purpose in the game as well, where he gives you momentary reprise after heavy action, aka you switch into area. He just simply talks with you in in a cafe or something like that. And if you've played Earthbound, think back to that really trippy coffee break scene. It's a little bit like that, because it's just so strange, and it's so well-timed almost. it gives you that break, and it's so just relaxed. It's very weird. So in the second meeting with Sans, he gives me a low blow without realizing it, I think. I mean, he could, who knows? I don't know him, but he does that and also reveals his mysterious true nature. It's very weird. I don't know what he is, but he informs me that he's practicing his jokes at a large stone door, and he hears a female voice behind it. With some inference, it's easy to tell that he's talking about Toriel. And in my head, I know that she's no longer at that door because I killed her. She's dead. She's gone. So while I'm trying not to scream, he also mentions another thing. That Toriel asked him to make a promise. He couldn't refuse it because he felt that she was sincere and pure because she laughed at his stupid jokes. She's got that kind of thing, you know, she laughs at some dumb jokes. She's gotta be just this person that is loving and caring and just absolutely pure-hearted. And that promise was that he wouldn't harm a human that came to the door. And he closes it off with this bone-chilling statement that if he hadn't agreed to this promise, that I would be dead where I stand. It's a little bit of a jarring statement coming from the ever-jovial guy, but that's currently what makes him so interesting to me. He's that strange character that I just cannot understand. But jump ahead again. Just before the final area, it's revealed to me that I didn't have all the pieces of the story yet. And in order for me to leave the monsters area, I have to have a powerful soul, which is, you know, a human soul. I have that. I'm a human. But I also need the soul of a powerful monster. And that monster is revealed to be Asgore, who is the king. I have to kill him. There's no other way around it. It's either I kill him, or he kills me. And if he dies, the kingdom of the monsters will, God knows what happened to it. And it's only because I wanted to leave the area and go back home. On the other hand, if I die, then I'm dead. And it's said that he'll take my soul and the 6 other humans that he has killed before, and with those 7 souls, he'll use them to crack the barrier, at which point the monsters will overrun the humans and just wipe humanity off the face of the planet, and monsters will rule forever. But more on that later. A little further ahead, the game decides to kick me in the balls again, and it makes me walk through Toriel's house again. Now, the area serves the purpose of giving you a little story told to you by the monsters. The story talks to you about Asgore's son, who cared for some human and ended up dying to some illness. What do you do? I don't care about that. It's mostly unimportant to my personal story right here, so you can care for it if you want to. Maybe I'll care for it later, but I don't know. It's just kind of there, and I don't know the purpose of it just yet. But I'm coming up on the fight with Asgore now, and I meet up with him in his throne room. Through the game, the people tell you that he's this like kind and gentle soul, and it really shows when you first show up. He greets me like anyone else would. He's just like, "Yo, what's up? Hey, like you want? I can put some tea on the Well, when he realizes who I am and what I am, his face frowns for just a moment. He and I both know what's going to happen, and despite this, he maintains his air of kindness and escorts me to the back of the throne room, to the barrier. It's here that my journey is going to end. It's either I die or he does. And the battle kicks off with something that I find very interesting and something that I love personally in any game. Asgore's sprite is this overbearing thing, and he does this little cape thing, pulls his arm out of his cape with this dramatic whoosh with his weapon in his hand, at which point he shatters the mercy button. There is no mercy in this fight. and the fight begins. And I spend the majority of the fight trying to figure out how I can not kill him. Well, that never happens, because I have to kill him. That's the way it is. It's the way it's gotta be. I gotta kill him. So, after some fighting, you know, I'm low on HP and I'm almost out of healing items. I have one healing item left. And lo and behold, it's the item that I kept for so long through the game. It's Toriel's cinnamon butterscotch pie slice. I couldn't bring myself to use it. I couldn't get rid of it. I didn't want to get rid of it because it meant something to me. I killed Toriel and that's all I had left of her. And now I would use it and it would save me. I use it, and Asgore seems to react to it in some way, and his attack and his defense lower. And it heals me, of course, and it ends up winning me the fight. In the fight's closure, I can actually spare Asgore, which I do. It's now that he gushes a little bit, telling me that he can't wait because I spared him. That I'm saying that I don't want to leave. I don't want to kill him. I don't want to leave the area and go home. I want to stay with, you know, the monsters. And that's, you know, half true because I don't want to just destroy their home by killing their king or whatever. But at the same time, I do want to go home. I have friends waiting for me back there. I don't know. And it's now that he tells me that me, him, and his wife will get together and we'll be happy together. And his wife, you ask? Oh, that detail was given to me a little bit before the fight. Her name? I hear you asking? Her name is Toriel. And he's going on about all this stuff. And I'm sitting here screaming that I killed her. I fucking killed her. And none of this stuff that he's saying could happen. She was the only person in the game that I killed. And everything would be ruined because I did it. Everything. And she was the only one that I killed and it was an accident. And now it's here that the flower once again appears. And the flower strikes down Asgore while he's just mangled from our fight. And while I'm busy trying not to just break into pieces because of Asgore and the fact that I killed Toriel. The flower claims the souls that Asgore had obtained from the previous humans. And the plant, Flowey, uses the souls to gain absolute, like, godhood power. And it's then that my game crashes. And this is not some accidental crash, mind you. This is something beyond that. I'm left spiraling in despair because of the whole situation. And I start my game back up, and something's not right. The sprites are glitching out, and the game's title is now Flowey Tale. My save file is gone, it's replaced by this Flowey file, level 900 bajillion, something like that. I load it, and I'm greeted by Flowey. He takes on this horrifying form, easily nightmare fuel form, and he informs me that absolute control is under his will. He tells me that he's a save file just for killing me over and over and over again. It can do whatever it wants to do. And my first fight with this thing doesn't go so well. He crushes me in a matter of seconds. It's quite seriously a bullet hell. I die to Flowey and my game crashes again. But with his infinite godhood, he brings me back again. And this time, I don't want to lose to him. I'm determined not to lose to him again. He gives me another shot by, like, bringing me back from the dead, essentially. And he regrets it. He sure does. I get to the real meat of the fight. I survive him for a short amount of time, and something goes on where something happens. And, well, it's a little reminiscent of Earthbound in that final fight with Gygas, where you have Paula calling out for help, and that's all that you can do during that fight. All you can do is just take the hits and pray. And that's essentially what happens here. I'm stuck basically praying out for anybody to help me. Flowey is nigh invulnerable. I can't kill him. You know, you can't do that. And eventually I receive help from all the souls that he has taken. All the human souls that he has absorbed, or not absorbed, but God knows what he's doing with them. And at this point, I'm barely clinging to life. I'm on like magic pixels of HP. He's throwing all sorts of crazy shit at me. And he's even using save states to try and fuck with me. He's loading and saving states constantly to try and just screw me over. And I refused to die to him again. I was just seriously on magic pixel HP the entire time. And at this point, he's sick of my shit. After receiving help from all 6 of those souls, he's sick of me. And he's done with me. He saves states just before he kills me. And he kills me multiple times. And each time, I'm staring at him, just furious. There's nothing I could do to get out of it, but there's just that unending fury toward him. And it's now that the 6 souls that had just helped me, they come to me and leave Flowey. And it's now that I can finish the fight. I can finally hurt him. And eventually he dies while I dodge his mess of whatever god, Jesus. And defeating him gives me the choice. I can kill him, or I can spare him. And my mind is just... it's blown at this point. Here's this little flower that so easily wanted to prey on me at the very start of the game. He lured me in with false statements, and he taunted me after I killed Toriel. And he just gave me a royal ass kicking. Why the hell should I not kill him? Well, I honestly don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. I don't know what. I don't even know what I was thinking at this point, but I didn't kill him. I chose to spare him. He asked why. I'm gonna spare him. He asked why again. Same response. He was threatening me. Same response. He threatened to kill everyone that I loved. And I gave him the same response. And he broke into tears. At which point I stuck to my guns. And now he ran away. Because I couldn't bring myself to kill him. Post-game, Sans comes back and calls me. In particular, he mentions that he went back to that stone door and the voice is not there. Toriel's dead. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for reminding me. Thank you. And we come back to Flowey after that little spiel of Sans. And he informs me that he'll just go back to his old ways. He doesn't give a shit. And he challenges me to clear the game again without killing anyone. And just maybe he'll change his ways. I just kind of scoff at him. And you know what? I'll do it. Fine. Fine, I'll do it, Flowey. Fine. I'll make a new file. And when I load up this new file, he greets me with a smirk. and he reminds me not to kill anybody. So I do so, and he once again kills Asgore at the very end of the story. This time, however, he doesn't go into that crazy nightmare fuel-induced god mode. He knows what's going to happen to him if he does. And we're basically at a stalemate. He can't do anything, and I can't do anything to him. He also smirks at the end, and he laughs at me, because I did what he told me to do. I didn't kill anybody, and that's what I did. He tells me to go back and become true friends with everybody. And, of course, I do so, learning in the process of one friend's dark, dark secret, and that friend is Alfie's. I also learn of a being that Shrew created during that time, which happens to be Flowey. The story earlier that I mentioned was completely worthless. Wasn't quite entirely worthless. And the story tells about basically the start of the war between the monsters and the humans. A human had fallen into the hole, and Flowey, who was Azrael at the time, started to take care of this human alongside Asgore and Toriel. Eventually, the human fell ill, and they died. So Azrael took it upon himself to return the human from where it came from as a final sort of goodbye. And in doing so, the humans thought that Azrael had killed the human. Azrael had absorbed the human's determination, and through so, didn't quite die as the humans tried to kill him in the village. He had placed the human upon a bed of golden flowers, and returned to the underground, where he died. A golden flower sprouted where he died, and Alfie's had injected that golden flower with determination, and it brought Azrael back to life as Flowey. He could feel nothing. He had no emotions. Nothing mattered to him. Now, with everything done, I head back to fight Asgore, after making friends with everybody, and Toriel breaks up the fight this time around, and scolds Asgore and his entire plan, basically, and telling him he's a giant idiot, and that's why she left him. But, you know, that's just all that. My other friends arrived: Undyne, Papyrus, Hans, Alfie's, as much as I hate her, and the meetup seems to be something of a coincidence. And at that point, Papyrus tells me that a little flower told him to meet up here. And at this point, I scream, but it's far too late to stop Flowey's plan. He wraps the friends I made up in his vines, and he mentions that he's already got the human souls under his possession, and he's going to use these souls of my new friends to get even more powerful. And as he's about to do so, every monster in the underground arrives to try and stop Flowey. Unfortunately, Flowey gains possession of every single monster soul in the underground, and at this point, he ascends to his true form, which is Child Azrael. And then he continues to go further, where he ascends to an adult form of himself, and he tries to kill me. He can't kill me, unfortunately for him, and he goes on a little monologue during the fight, informing me that both he and I have the power to end it all. And the reason he acts the way he does is because he feels nothing at all anymore, and I'm the only person in the entire world that can let him feel things. He wants to play with me, and he knows if I win the game, that I won't play the game again, and he'll be alone forever. And at some point during the fight, he breaks out and just screams, "Why won't you let me win?" I can't let him win, though, and in the end, I defeat him, and he uses the power to return all the souls he took from the monsters and breaks the barrier. And he's left with nothing. And, you know, he says his final goodbyes to me, and also says that he'll return to his flower form once his power goes low enough, essentially. And from there, he leaves. The monsters and I leave the underground, and I choose to be the ambassador for the monsters, because the humans are going to be, oh my god, monster, what the hell is this shit? So I choose to be the ambassador, and on top of that, I also choose to stay with Toriel after the whole ordeal is finished. And we live happily ever after. If it just wasn't for that burning hatred in my heart, my soul was not pure. Upon starting the game back up, Flowey greets me, and he tells me things. He no longer wants to use his power for dark things. He tells me that I stopped him, and then he tells me I have the power that he had the whole time, just like he said before. The power to reset it all. The power to send everything back to the start, and that would mean that everyone, including Flowey, would forget everything and anything related to me and what I had done. And it was my turn to smile and cackle as I reset it all. I would get my revenge on that worthless little flower. I slaughtered everyone that I came across again. Not one soul would remain once I finished my new quest. Flowey would be mine, and it was vastly amusing, because he reveled in the taste that I had for stealing the power of monsters as I turned him into dust. Little did he know that I would be ending him as well. I killed old friends who no longer knew who I was, and the world was terrified at my approach. And come the last corridor, where that story about Azrael was told, I'm greeted by Flowey himself. And he babbles on about how he had the same power that I have now. The power to reset it all, the power to come back to life, the power to do anything. And then he says that he's scared of me. He's terrified of me. Just like every other monster in the underground. And his fear is just what I desire. It's why I've come this far. I was his friend in one timeline, but now I had wiped his memory clean and put fear into his being. I would get my revenge soon. Unfortunately, there was one thing standing in my way, and that was Sans. And believe you me, he stood in my way. He told me that I would have a bad time earlier on in the game, and he was quite right. I think I spent over 7 hours fighting this guy over and over again, and he knew at some point he would fall. He knew I was determined to do whatever it is that I wanted to do. He kept counting my deaths for a short time, until finally he got bored of it essentially and said, you know what, do it yourself. Unfortunately for him, he was right, and he died by my hand. So, with Sans gone, only one person remained besides Flowey, and that was Asgore. He was talking to Flowey in the throne room, and he tried to negotiate with me for a short time before I just stabbed him in his heart probably and killed him in one hit. You know, whatever, bye. As he turned to dust, Flowey, of course, tries to play it cool. He yet again shatters Asgore's soul, and he tries to tell me that he was on my side the whole time. He's terrified, and he was going to destroy Asgore for me, just to prove that he was on my side. Unfortunately for him, I wanted him. And I reveled in it. I loved every goddamn second of me killing him and snuffing out his life. And after him, everything else fell as well. The world was no more. And most importantly, I got my revenge. And Flowey was wrong. You see, down here, it's kill and be killed.